That's called.
She said,
Call this meeting order, please. Would you all stand? Cite the pledge of allegiance, and after that, we'll follow by the invocation. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Reverend?
Heavenly Father, tonight we ask your blessing on us coming together here. We ask your blessings on the mayor and the council. Tonight we thank you for them. We ask that you be with them, and we ask you to lead, guide, and direct. And we also ask your blessing on all of those that serve our community, to help this community be all that it can be in this day and time. So we give you thanks and praise for that. Be with us in all that we do, in Jesus' name.
Amen. Amen. Please be seated. Okay, we will start out with the roll call. Greg Smith.
Present.
Lori Quinn. Absent. Mike Schneider.
Here.
Adrian Saunders. Absent. Robin Simpson.
Present.
Jason Osborne.
Here.
We have a quorum. Let's move forward with review and approval of the minutes of September 5th, 2024, found under tab 4.
I'll make a motion to approve the September 5th minutes as prepared.
We have a motion on the floor to approve the minutes of the September 5th, 2024 board meeting. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a motion on the floor and a second to approve the minutes from the September 5th, 2024 meeting. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say no. Motion carries. Okay, next on the agenda is going to be the mayor's report. First thing I want to run by, try to give a brief description. We want to try to move fairly quickly tonight if we can. We have an awful lot on our plate, followed by a executive session. So I'll ask all of you, please, if possible, attempt to get through this as quickly as possible. What we have on the doors for more quote is the entrance door on the south entrance door has some significant wear on the hinges, and consequently it will not operate properly. The next door on the, I call it the rear entrance, the south entrance, the latch mechanism does not no longer work, nor does the push bar. In addition to that, we've had some security issues on the entrance door into the office area for the mayor's office, as well as the city administrator's office and the city clerk's office. We've had people come in who are not authorized to be there with various issues. And so we're requesting the board to approve the purchase of an Adams Wright keyless entry for just that door and that door only, and then we will work with the various departments to determine who should have access. Now, we asked Doors and Moores to do a quote. I contacted the company in Columbia that is the local representative for Adams Wright. Now, what does that mean? Adams Wright is the manufacturer of all the mechanical hardware that's on these doors. And anyone that's done doors understands that you can't just take anything and put it on these industrial commercial sized doors. The prices that he actually put together are very consistent with what it would cost to purchase it. So obviously he must get a jobber's or supplier's discount. It kind of falls under the category of professional services because it's very unique. We can go out and try to find somebody in Columbia or St. Louis or Kansas City or some other area that that actually can provide this particular product and install it. But in the interest of expediency, I'd like to ask this board to approve the purchase in the amount of $2,769 and get it done as soon as possible.
Any, is there any issue with that? I make a motion that we approve.
What's the monthly payment part? Was that them?
I don't know why. He apparently that's just something they do. They say, okay, pay $41.26 a month for some duration. I'm not going to ask what the duration is.
If you want to finance instead, huh?
Yeah.
Well, I don't know, maybe we should discuss
Why didn't I have some
financing.
sort
you
of-
know?
Always interest
Sorry.
rates
No.
are-
It's, uh,
What do you think, city attorney? Does that legally fall under professional services? And then there's an issue of the expediency of getting it done because of security of the personnel. And looking at the numbers, I mean, I can go get individual numbers and come back and say, okay, it's gonna cost, $2,200 to buy just the hardware, and he's gonna charge you $500 to put it in, or something along those lines, but I'd like to move forward.
I think we can.
We've had some kind of scary incidents.
Yeah.
Okay, I have a motion on the floor to approve the Doors and More quote for $2,769. Do I have a second?
Okay.
I have a motion, second on the floor to approve the purchase for Doors and More hardware to repair the doors in the amount of $2,769. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All say opposed, say no. Okay, motion carries. Thank you very, very much. I'm sure that everyone in that office will appreciate the security that we provide. Next thing comes on the mayor's report. This is merely, I'm not really sure exactly how to qualify this. We need to make sure somehow that any entity and every entity in Monroe City, regardless of who they represent, whether it be the Chamber of Commerce or downtown Monroe City, that they go through the process, which we couldn't find that the process went through. If it was, I apologize. But we need to make sure they go through the process of getting the city's approval to install anything on city property, because there are additional requirements relative to liability insurance through MIRMA. So we have to go through some hoops, and it's not that we don't want help. It's not that we won't encourage participation by other entities to help make this city more attractive, but we do need to follow the process of going through the Board of Aldermen to request and receive approval to install anything onto city property. So that's just basically a public
I
statement.
mean, I might add, with elections coming up, I mean, that goes for any type of campaign, I mean.
Campaign
signs,
materials,
things like
signs, correct. Okay, and I'll wrap that up real quick. Next thing on the list is Clarence Can Wholesale Water Commission. In your packets and handout should be two documents. One is from Clarence Can Wholesale Water Commission, and the second is from Missouri Department of Natural Resources. The letter from Missouri Department of Natural Resources addresses the fact that, and I'm going to do a little bit of extrapolation here, back in 2020, 2022 time frame, because of the deficiencies and issues with water testing, information was submitted to the DNR where we were going to either purchase water from Clarence County Coastal Water Commission, we were going to switch to chloramines for treatment, or we were going to have an engineer review the plant for upgrades. We're currently in the process of working with an engineering company to do the review for the plant upgrades. We will be switching to option number 2 from the original study from Black and Veatch, which would switch to chloramines and then make the dioxide treatment permanent. Mr. Heath Hall from Clarence County Coastal Water Commission contacted me this week. We had a discussion about the July 11, 2024 letter in which they had given us some very significant requirements and had discussed within this email their board's concerns about the city's ability, financial ability to repay the loan. They asked for some very significant requirements to allow them to make those determinations, which include 3 fiscal year audits, timelines for any audits in progress, current year's budget, revenue projections, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. I asked a very simple question of Heath, and I said, well, I can tell you right now, we can't give you this information. We don't have it now. We're not going to have it in the very near future. And going back and providing 3 fiscal year audits wouldn't happen until we had 3 more fiscal years. I asked the question, if we pulled the trigger today, what would happen? He said, well, we probably have water in about 5 years. So let's go back and take a look at the Department of Natural Resources requirement that we have to answer in 20 days. It's going to be to switch to chloramines. We've already hired and entered a contract with the same engineering firm that was hired back in 2019. It's amendment number A to the contract with Black and Veatch, so they will be working on the water treatment plant upgrades. What I need to do is we need to go ahead and formally submit our plans to Clarence County Wholesale Water. I'd like I like the characterization that Heath used. He is the manager of Clarence Clarence Cannon, and he simply said, we're not able to move forward at this time, and that's a very true statement. So we have to give them an answer, and they have to have it by November 30th. I think the answer was given when we passed the motion to enter the contract for an Amendment A to Black and Beach. So I need an amendment, I need a motion.
You said November 30th.
September.
September 30th.
I'm sorry, September 30th, I apologize.
It's-
Yeah, I'm thinking about, I don't know, I'm thinking about, holidays are coming up, turkey, I don't know. But, yes, September 30th. So I need a motion on our answer to Clarence County Wholesale Water that we are not going to continue with the connection at this time.
I'll make that motion, discontinue the project.
Okay, we have a motion on the floor to discontinue the project. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a motion second on the floor to discontinue the project for Clarence County Wholesale Water. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say no.
No.
Motion carries. Okay, next thing we have is going to be the city clerk's report.
Do we have anything for the library folks on here? C, Monroe City Public Library.
Yeah, the public library, that's gonna be a comment, what that's really gonna be. We were contacted by Robin Westfall, thanks for bringing that to my attention. Robin Westfall and Corey Mahalik, who's with the Secretary of State's office for the state of Missouri. And we're going to have a Zoom meeting with them tomorrow afternoon at 1 p.m. And they're going to share with us some insight on the Missouri revised statutes and other guidelines that support libraries, and in particular how city libraries with their own voted tax levy operate in Missouri. I already know what the statutes are. Basically, what's going to happen is they're going to want to know how soon and how quickly we're going to divorce ourselves from the financial side of the operation of the library. They have their own board of directors. They now have their own P.O. box. They will soon have their own bank account, and we will settle up with them sometime during the first quarter of 2025 is going to be the comments that I have with the Secretary of State's office tomorrow afternoon. And that's basically an update for everyone's consumption. Anything else? Anything else?
No.
Okay. So let's go ahead and move forward with the next agenda item, number 6, City Clerk's Report. Danette?
Provided the report for you guys. There is a bank statement in there as well. The balance for general fund is $1,554,076.06. And the sweep account balance is $654,120.11. The mayor and I met with Devin Campbell and Cindy Folks the other day regarding about top priorities for Monroe City, and they're gonna look into a few things for us, one of them being Mill Street project over there, and she's gonna be getting back to us on that. I wanted to point out real quick, looking at the bank statement, if you, the items that are highlighted on the bank statement, that is what is in our bank rec and general ledger, okay? Everything that's not highlighted, I just want to give you all an idea of how many entries are being made for each month that Jackie is getting our general ledger and bank reconciliation caught up. So everything that's not highlighted is what has to be updated in bank rec and general ledger.
Yeah, close to 200.
Lots,
Yeah.
lots of items.
Per month.
That's just per month, yeah. So I just want to give you an idea. I did speak with her the other day. She has gotten general ledger entries up to October 23. She's got some of those in there. And yeah, we're getting closer. I finalized getting caught up on sales tax today. It hadn't been done since November. And I finalized all of those today, got everything. The mayor has to sign off on 2 more, and then I can send them tomorrow, and we will be totally caught up on our sales tax, and then I can start putting some of these in for the new bank statements as they come in. So,
How, you mentioned sales tax, so those were delinquent payments?
Yes.
yes.
So we'll probably get
Lots of
penalties
penalties.
and interest
lots of
charges.
Were we able to?
Mr.
Get any of that?
Mr. Bodeker, J.J. Bodeker, who is the manager within the Missouri Department of Revenue Taxation Division, sent me an email. When we get all this completed, he's going to go back, and he said he will be able to abate all the penalties from June, excuse me,
20, no, it wasn't June, it was,
January, wasn't it? January
January.
2020, January 2022, January of 2022 through June of 2024, when
Yes.
this administration really got itself off the ground. It's a lot of money.
Yeah.
It's a significant amount of money, the penalties.
July
Penalties
and
were often
August,
more
I
than
did
what
get
the monthly
filed, so
sales
there
tax
won't be
was.
penalties or interest on those reports. I did get those filed on time.
Right.
And even got to take the 2% discount on those months, so.
So hopefully we'll have a big credit, and that will allow us some more flexibility. We should be getting the money back from the EDA grant in the next
Correct,
3 or
yes.
4 days, another $160,000, and then we have some other things that we're working on.
So we've already paid the penalties.
The penalties get paid when we pay them, and so then they won't.
So we're hoping to get it credited.
Big credit, hopefully, a big
Yeah,
big
there
credit.
was a few months that filed with $2,000-3,000
Penalties.
Just in penalties.
per month, so.
And then how, the ones that are highlighted, those we could reconcile, did they automatically reconcile, or do you have to go in?
No, those are ones that I put in as they were received,
Uh-huh.
like the NECAT payments for customers, so when I get those notices, I go in and put them in on bank rec on our side, and then when I put in their payments, that covers the GL side.
Okay.
So those are in there,
So every month we have to go through and manually reconcile every single one of these?
yeah, a lot of these, bank card transactions, credit card transactions, those come through online. And so we've got to either put them in on the bank rec side or the general ledger side. Most of the time, it's the bank rec side. So all of these here, and like, these direct deposits from Department of Revenue,
Mm-hmm.
those have to go in on the GL side, bank rec side. There's so many.
So do they batch the credit card transactions at least? Or are they individual entries for each payment?
I'm working on my first individual bank statement.
Okay.
I haven't gotten that far yet, so
Okay.
I can't answer that
Okay.
question. We're getting there.
Yeah.
Well, as a matter of fact, just to kind of let the board know, continuing activities on both the bank rec, the GL, and budget preparation. We'll be working every night next week from about 5:10 till about 7 each night. Danette, myself, Jackie, and I'm not sure if we're going to be pulling anybody else in. We're going to try to do it very, very fast if we can, slam dunk on the budget. And what you're going to observe is we're going to submit a budget, and because of where we're at right now on the G&L, the bank rec, the beginning balance numbers almost surely will be adjusted again, at least once, if not twice, as more information gets into the total accounting system. You know, I'd like to make apologies, but I really can't apologize for what happened in 2022 or 2023 or even the first 6 months of 2024, so I'm not going to. What I am going to do is I'm going to say that I'm very pleased. There was a lot of unknowns, and I did not even understand the scope or the depth of the amount of work that had to be accomplished. And I'm very pleased with our staff. They've been working at it somewhat feverishly and still managing to maintain the day-to-day activities and maintain everything from about April 26th up to now is current. And so it was a pretty big undertaking, and I'm very pleased at the work they've done. It hasn't been as fast as everyone wanted it to be, but I don't know that it could have been done different or that we'd have had a different outcome if we'd have taken a different approach. Anything else?
once we do get caught up, all those bank entries that are on that statement that have to be put in through Bank Rec, we're gonna go in on a daily basis and
Okay.
keep up.
This isn't happening again. It's
So
not under our
we don't
watch.
have to do it all at one
Yeah,
time.
I was trying to brainstorm thinking, there's gotta be a better way for you guys.
And there is,
Okay.
and that's how we can keep up.
Okay.
It just was not, it was, for whatever reason, and we don't know the reasons,
That's-
it was not maintained appropriately.
Well, and with this many transactions per month, you got far a little behind and it would sandbag,
It's a lot.
I appreciate the update and, because I know it's a priority for everyone out there and it's, I wouldn't say it's a priority for me. so-
Everyone wants to know. I get it. I get it.
That's all I have.
All right, thank you very much, Jeanette. City Attorney's report?
You'll all be hearing from me a lot in closed sessions, but, the only thing really bring up, there's a municipal court conference coming up in a couple of weeks that UMKC Law School is putting on. I asked the mayor for approval to attend that, so if there aren't any objections, I'll attend that.
And that's, that should be, you all should have a handout, just kind of outlining, the date, the time, things of that nature. It might be in the packet that was in addition to your binder.
Then there's an ordinance to rezone some property, I-1, which had been, we'll get to that later, but, other than that, that's all I've got.
The
Okay.
The cost for his training is $175. It's up for.
Are you gonna bill us for hotel or anything like that?
Nah.
Good.
It's close, huh?
Good. Mr. Mazziarka, I understood you stood up and held up your hand. I apologize. We have an ordinance that prevents that from occurring.
That's fine. It's just, I just wanted to know, because you're talking about city council, I've had no updates on, and I've had many citizens talk to me about Metalcraft and how much they owe us, and is that money that we should have in the bank?
May I or not? I mean,
Yes,
okay,
it's
hold-
important for the city.
Hold on a second. Okay, in order for us to recognize a member of the gallery who is not on the authorized guest list, someone on this board has to make a motion to allow the speaker to speak. Then it has to receive a second, and the majority of the board has to approve it. So, it's yours.
I will make a motion, Mr. Mazziarka, to address the board.
Okay, we have a motion on the floor. Let Ms. Mazziarka address the board. We have a second. All in favor say aye. Please stand and address the board.
I was just wondering, I've had many citizens talk to me, because a lot of people know me around there, because I was a custodian at school, and they're wondering what's going on with Metalcraft, and we haven't heard nothing for a while, and they're wondering how come they owe us so much money, and how come we're so far behind and kind of in debt with the city, because they owe us a lot of money.
I can address this, or you can address this, or you can address this. Now, I can tell you what I can tell you that are current on their utility bill. Or they are current on their current utility bill. The promissory note, how do you want to address it?
Probably not at this time.
Can you share what the email said or not?
Well, I guess the city's taking extra steps to collect on the promissory note.
Right.
So-
I got you, because every time I go by there, there's like 8 cars maybe there during the day. And the people are talking around town that we're gonna get stuck again with whatever, $400,000 or $500,000 bill, yeah. And that's why the city's kind of, where we're at.
Yeah.
The only reason I talk to them is because, like I said, a lot of people know me, because I worked at school.
The, I'm gonna go ahead and do this, I might get slapped for it, but we received an email from the owner of the corporation. Are you gonna throw something at me?
No.
He assures us that he is going to be current with his utility bill and cure, C-U-R-E, cure the note by September 27th of this year. So,
I heard that from Coons when I worked for them.
excuse me?
I heard that from L.L. Coons, like my neighbor.
Yeah,
He
well,
got stuck for
that's a long time ago.
I know, but still, he got stuck for money and we were in debt.
The city has been the recipient of multiple large losses due to industrial users absconding on their debt. If you will go back and think about the orders that were passed recently, unless some other board in the future decides to vote and not follow the ordinances that this board has passed, it will never, ever happen again. Nor will we be stuck with thousands of dollars by individual residents. Nor will we be stuck with thousands of dollars by individual holders of multiple properties.
But if they go bankrupt, they don't own the building.
That was passed. That whole situation would happen last year. All this board could do was to pass ordinances that are very specific in nature to make sure those things cannot occur again unless some future board changes the ordinances that we put in place. So we reacted the only way we can. We reacted the only way we can to the failures of the past.
And they were people were wondering why it got so far behind.
Well, I can't answer that question.
I know. I'm not.
All I can tell you as a concerned citizen and a taxpayer, we have taken every step allowed by the law to make sure it never happens again.
You guys as a mayor and the alderman come in a big mess. I know for the last 4 years.
We hope I get our money back. We hope we get the money back. It's long gone. It was spent months ago. You know, we pay MQA for electricity. We pay MQA for the natural gas.
I understand. I know you guys are trying. You're doing the best that can get done in the city for the last many years. I know.
All right.
I know.
Are you satisfied with our answer?
Yes.
Then we're going to move on.
Cool.
Well, I got a glass of water after that. At least a drink.
Going back to the attorney's report, did you all want to make a motion for him to attend the training?
I'll make a motion for him to attend the conference.
I'll second it.
We have a motion on the floor and a second to approve the expense for the conference for the city attorney to attend. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say no. Motion carries. Okay, next, have I missed anything?
No, PTMC.
Okay. Next on the authorized guest speaker, starting out with DTMC. Debbie, you
Sir,
have the floor.
Mayor, thank you. Council, nice to be here tonight. We're excited about some upcoming things that's happening around the city. December 14th, DTMC will have their Christmas street stroll.
Cool.
October 5th, the Chamber, I'm plugging off our little tear-off list. The Chamber has the Fall Fest. Hope to see you all there. And wanted to thank the city crews that helped with a project that we started back in 2022, the end of the year, that took till 2023 of September to actually apply for the grant. But we appreciate the city helping us dig out for the pads that we're putting the recyclable park benches to be used for education for students in our area, that we did in conjunction with the Department of Conservation and the Waste Management of Mark Twain area, something close to that.
Solid Waste District.
Solid Waste District. It was a long project, but we ended up with several benches. They're nice benches. We've got them set in a couple of different places, but we'll have these benches bolted to the concrete before the Chamber's Fall Fest.
Great.
Now, on another note, we are here this evening to present a check to the city of Monroe City from a grant that we received through the Community Foundation for Monroe County. We are applying for grants through DTMC. That is how we're funding things that we want to help do. One of the things that all of us have asked for and said, if we could have something, what could we get? We all want to see technology in this room, starting with speakers, and we want to help start that process. So DTMC is proud to present tonight to the City of Monroe City $1,000 to go towards the purchase of, and you gotta get up here because we have to take our picture with this. So we'll
Where do I have to get up to?
Anybody, I want y'all to stand around. It's not just my
You want to
name.
get down there, or where?
Is that low enough?
Oh, yeah, it needs to be just either, yeah. Come on, stand
Why
up.
don't you get down there with her?
Me?
And then we'll all
Yeah, the
stand.
mayor, we'll make the mayor, we'll stand behind.
Yeah.
That's right, Lori's not here. She would have.
I'm glad to hear that you're all behind me.
Very symbolic, Mayor.
Don't embarrass me.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
You don't get to keep this. I think they're gonna arrest me for bringing your counterfeit check.
Thank you very much.
I'll drop the check off tomorrow at City Hall, because I've read it tonight. But we do appreciate it, and I believe our Give Me Lori is supposed to be working with Mike to help figure out how to spend that money somehow.
Thank you.
It's like a plan to me. Thank you so
Thank
very
you all.
much.
Thank you.
We appreciate all your help. Okay, excuse me, folks, I apologize. Ryan Heisman from Miko Engineering is going to address the board. He is here to talk briefly about finding opportunities for funding to help us with our Monroe City Airport K-52. We know it has some ongoing maintenance issues that need to be addressed. And with that, I'll turn it over to Ryan.
Mayor and council, thanks for having me tonight. I'm with Miko Engineering. We are an engineering firm that's out of Hannibal. We've got 8 locations across Missouri, Jeff City, Kirksville, Hannibal, Boonville, Branson, and Pittsfield, Illinois too as well. I am in charge of the aviation sector of Miko, and we focus on rural communities. Monroe City has been kind of very close in our kind of network, and we have noticed that you guys are not actively seeking any federal or state grants right now. I don't know if you currently have an airport consultant through the state, but that would be something I would highly suggest if it was Miko or somebody else for you to look at doing to apply for grants and federal monies. You know, the federal the FAA has $400 million associated with the airport improvement plan every year, and I can tell you if you don't apply for the grants, you're not going to get anything. So it is worth the effort. We have a lot of clientele in the area: Macon, Moberly, Brookfield, Mexico, that we are the consultant for them, and we have found grants over the years for them for improvements. I think the last major project that you guys have done out there was a light project. It's been about a year ago. I think that there is areas of your airport that if you don't improve and get grants currently for it, it's going to be a very large expense down the road. So I just want to come here and help consult with the city. There is no charge initially with looking to put us as your airport consultant with the state, but we would look at kind of trying to get you guys to where we're putting in grants for you on a regular basis and getting federal and state funding. Because if you don't, this expenses of this airport will fall on the city, and that will be very hard to burden.
So basically, there's no charge for us at this point. You guys are looking at the grant, and in that process, you probably work as like the engineering group and be compensated as we go that way.
Exactly. So initially, the first process would be is getting an airport consultant through the state, and then on your behalf, and then we can help identify grants that we can apply for you, and then we will do, low fees associated with doing those grant applications, and we're all about partnering with airports from a long-term aspect. When you guys get these funds, and those are where we get our design fees associated with it. Now, all of these grants are typically, when you do get a grant, you can get reimbursed for the fees associated with applying for that grant application. So, typically, around the $10,000 mark is what a grant application will cost. When you do get those grants, you can get reimbursed and put that back into the city's funds.
What if we don't?
So if you don't, that's a great question. A lot of times you don't get those grants. This is just like any other state or federally funded project. When you show those needs and you come back year after year showing that need, those things get accepted.
Okay.
Unless there's a major issue.
Right.
And you guys have, you have a runway that is becoming, the condition of it needs to be resealed. You've got an apron that has fairly large gaps in it that need sealing. You've got beacons, and these are just things that happen over time. And we need to get Monroe City on a constant application of grants on a yearly basis, where we're getting one every single year.
Do the grants typically, those sound like maintenance projects to me, not actually improvements. Would the grants typically pay for maintenance projects, or
You would be surprised, the
you have to be
AIP,
creative?
the AIP program through the federal government can pay for maintenance, salaries, it can pay for equipment, it can pay for snow plows, trucks, hangars. It go very widespread. Like I said, it's $400 million in federal funds.
For a
That's
rural
what's going
fund,
on.
that doesn't include the major airports.
No, that does include parts of the major airports, but
Okay.
a lot of the major airports can fund a lot of their
Fund
projects themselves.
Yeah.
So a lot of that money is going to rural America, and like I said, if you don't put the applications in, I can guarantee you won't get them.
I think in 2005, which is 20 years ago, roughly 20 years ago, the cost for resurfacing and repainting the airport, I think, was right around $600,000. I can't imagine what that would be today. But it's, I think we're going to have to make some small investments in order to attempt to obtain much larger financing, because I do not think that we will be able to be in a position to fund that, if you want to call it maintenance and repair, that's going to be required by the time that it's required. And so we don't have to do anything today. There's a process you have to go through. We have to go out for requests for engineers. There would be multiple engineering companies that would send us their qualifications. The board would have to decide who amongst those who submitted their qualifications would be the entity that you would want to go forward with, and it may or may not even be MECO, but they are local, they are close, they have history, they got experience, they got knowledge, they got a good crew, but we would have to go through that process no matter what. So I appreciate the fact that Ryan, I visited with Ryan for about an hour out at the airport. We discussed, excuse me, many of our thoughts on what were the most significant things that need to be done relative to prioritization. And I'm glad you came here to have this discussion. Are there any other questions?
I know Mr. Buckman has expressed before that some of the other surrounding cities have gotten some significant money to some of those programs. He was kind of hoping that we could find some help there to do some of that.
For example, tell them about making what they get per year just for maintenance.
They get about $75,000 per year just for doing maintenance.
Does it matter that they're a regional airport and we're not, we're municipal only?
No, not necessarily. And I can tell you, Bowling Green, you know, they've got $3 million for a terminal. So there's money out there, especially for the rural areas, that if you show the need for that money, and you show that, you know, that there's areas that there's a deficit going in the future that they can help with those things. So that's what we're here to help. And we don't focus on big commercial airports, you know, the St. Louis Lamberts and the Kansas City. We focus on the rural areas. That's where our business is.
I'll make a motion that we request qualifications for engineering services for the airport and any aviation needs we have.
Unfortunately, we have a member who had to step out just for a second.
Can you repeat that last part of that?
Airport and any aviation.
You WD-40 that door.
Maybe when Doors and Moores here.
There you go. One package deal.
Where are we on, Jason?
Yeah, we have to have 4.
Since we're missing 2 members.
No problem. But yeah, we you know, typically how we would go about this is you would submit through the state, and there is a aviation MoDOT RFQ process. I talked to the mayor about this, and I talked to Dell about this, and we can help kind of guide you guys through that and get that, and then you will get solicitations from all types of engineering firms and learn about that. You can have compare and contrast and pick one, but I would highly recommend that you have a consultant for the airport, somebody that you guys trust, and that you are constantly putting in these grant applications on a yearly basis, just because there's so much money there, so much money for areas of need.
Well, I know, of course, a big part of a lot of these grants is knowing what you have to put in and where to go and how to put stuff out so you're get qualified.
And we do that for other airports around, and we're experts at that. That's what we do on a regular basis. So we can help you and other airports because of the knowledge that we've gained over the years. So.
Okay, we have a motion on the floor to approve to go out for request for qualifications for engineering services for airport and aviation. Do we have a second?
I'll second that.
We have a motion second on the floor to go out for request for qualifications for airport and aviation. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say no. Motion carries.
Thanks, Ryan.
Thank you.
Okay, next thing we have is Mr. David Hickman from HIC Health Insurance Renewal, who will give his presentation.
How are we doing today?
Good.
And I'm not real familiar how this process works. What did you do last year for it?
So we did it last year. We actually did it virtually. So yeah, we just did a renewal meeting over a Skype or a go-to meeting.
When we get that technology, we'll be able to do that.
Right, exactly, and it's no big deal. I love making my rounds. So, if everyone's familiar with the current health insurance and the health insurance we've had for the last few years, we've had a carrier, whether it was United Healthcare or Anthem, as an umbrella policy, and we actually had a 2-card system where we had Freedom Claims and what's called a health reimbursement account to help cover claims that come in under that high deductible to pay those benefits down to a lower deductible. Are you guys familiar with how we've had that set up for the last few years?
The only, with Jason would be,
I'm the only guy.
the only one left. The rest are all new, yeah.
And so the system we've had has been kind of confusing for employees to use. It is a 2-card system, so whenever they go into a provider, they need to show both cards, and so we've had some mix-up with that. Some employees don't fully understand it. What I'm presenting today is a plan through Excel Health Plans. We've got a lot of business in Missouri with this health plan. One of the closed counties we have insured with this is Monroe County. They've been on this plan for about 4 years, and it's a plan that when we got them on it, they basically said, hey, we wish we would have done this earlier, and we are wanting to stay on this moving forward. So this has been a really good plan for our groups here in Missouri. If you'll pull out this page here, it's the one with the brown graphic. It says the Monroe City, Missouri 2024-2025 plan year proposal. It's that very first one. I have on the left side your current Anthem plus Freedom Claims benefit structure, and then I have the rates listed below that for our current plan, and then I have the proposal from Excel Health Plans. So just a couple really high points on this proposal are the deductible currently for an individual is $3,900, and for a family it's $7,800. We're proposing we move to a plan with a flat $3,000 deductible. It is a $9,000 deductible for family, so it is just slightly higher on the family side. But if we look at the maximum out of pocket, moving down there, the maximum out of pocket for an individual on our current plan is $5,200. And then our family maximum out of pocket is $10,400. So worst case scenario, someone incurs $1 million claim. If they're an individual, they pay $5,200. If they're a family, they could reach that $10,400 threshold. What we're proposing is to move that to a $3,000, $9,000. So the deductible on this new plan moving forward, we would say the deductible is the maximum out of pocket. There's no co-insurance corridors or anything funky with 2 cards. It's just a 1-card system. So when they go in, they show their medical ID card and they get the benefits listed here, okay? So it's a lot more straightforward and easy for employees to use. Our primary care office copay right now, we're paying $15 for that. It is an extremely good and extremely low copay for primary care office visits. We're proposing move that to a $10 copay, so it would go down $5 for those employees. Urgent care, specialist right now is a $75 copay, and we have urgent care listed the exact same way. So $75 right now for urgent care and specialist visits. We're proposing moving those to a $55 copay. So it's just more money back in the employees' pockets is really what we're proposing with this plan. Moving on to prescription drugs. Right now, our generic drugs are the price of the drug up to $15. So it's a $15 copay on our generic drugs. A lot of times when employees are going to the pharmacy to fill their prescriptions, the pharmacist says, put away your insurance card. It's actually cheaper without insurance. Imagine you're paying all this money for this great benefit, and it's cheaper to just not use it. Absolutely ridiculous. So on this new plan, we are proposing to move those generic copays to a $1 copay. Employees, there's a ton of employee satisfaction when we do that. They go from paying $50 to $60 for 3 or 4 scripts every month, and it goes down to $3 or $4, right? So huge savings for those employees. And then kind of last but not least here on the premium side, our employee only right now is running $842.80, so it's a little bit high. We'd like to bring that down to $755.25. So we'd like to bring the premiums down. I don't know how that actually looks at your guys' level. It's $20,000 annually in savings, so I don't know. We kind of need to figure out whether the city just eats that and the employees keep paying what they're paying, or how we want to work that. The employees already have a really, really good benefit, but the city needs some money, obviously, with everything that's going on. So if that's something that the city just wants to, take as far as the savings.
What part of the premium do we pay for the employee now?
Right now, the employee pays $16.25 a month.
$15.25 for our families?
For their individual. For family, it's $197. That's what the employee pays. The city pays the other portion of that.
So they pay $1,500 a month? Or $15, you're saying?
The employee pays $16.25 per month.
$16. Okay.
$16.
Okay. I was thinking $1,600. I'm like, yikes.
And so just for reference, we insure a lot of cities and counties in Missouri. $16 is very, very fair for such a good benefit. Yeah. We see groups where employees might pay $100 or $120 for their insurance every single month. So $16 bucks.
You don't want to know what I used to pay.
Right.
That's why I was like,
It makes you sick.
where's the comment in that?
So, I mean, I think it's something where you guys just stomach the savings there, and you can allocate that
We
toward.
do, And it looks like here that for the individual, this is a better policy.
Oh, yeah.
It looks like for the
City is a better
prescription
policy
benefits,
too,
a
right?
much better policy. It also reduces the city's cost, the city absorbing the rest of it. You know, I'm certainly not an insurance expert, but just looking at the dollar amount, it's a savings to the city and it benefits the employees. I don't know that we can do any better, but I'm not the insurance expert.
Is there an in-network, out-of-network?
So there is, just like your current plan, there is an in-network and out-of-network benefit, and the out-of-network benefit's gonna be 2 times the in-network benefit. So, there's a lot more risk when you go outside of the medical network. I can tell you that we're gonna be pretty hard pressed to find providers that aren't in the network.
That was my next question.
Monroe County's been on this plan, like I said, for the last 3 or 4 years, and we've never had an issue with network. It is a large nationwide network, so even if we have an employee that goes to vacation in Florida, they get coverage in Florida.
But there's good coverage in this area then,
Yeah.
as far as providers.
Yep, and this plan actually comes with a lot of really interesting cost containment tools, which is why we love this plan so much and why it helps stabilize the budget. This isn't like United Healthcare plan or an Anthem plan. This plan has, if you look at this sheet here, it's got what's called a disappearing deductible. So this is what is the best part of the plan. This is the meat and potatoes. So for an employee who might need to get an MRI over the weekend, maybe they hurt their knee and they need to go get an MRI, they got an x-ray and it wasn't broken. An MRI, if you go to a local hospital facility, can cost up to $6,500. They can hit their maximum out of pocket on that. Well, when our plan notices that there's a MRI that comes through the pre-certification on the back end, we actually reach out to the member and say, hey, we understand your doctor referred you, go here. But if you're willing to drive to, and it might be Columbia, Missouri, we've got this plan in Monroe County, and I know that's a referral pattern, is we've contracted with freestanding imaging centers and freestanding surgery centers. So if an employee goes to Columbia for that MRI, and we actually reach out to them and let them know that's available, they're more than welcome to follow their doctor's referral pattern. But if they use our preferred vendor, we take that $6,500 MRI to zero for that employee. 93% of Americans are living paycheck to paycheck. And for someone who might be on the street department, they might not have $3,000 to pay their deductible up front before they can go get this service. So what we're saying is if you use our preferred vendors, we'll cover it at 100%. And the plan saves a ton of money. We pay cash for those MRIs, they're about $150, but that's how much greed's in this system when we see an MRI at a hospital facility, $6,500 versus where we can get it for about $150. We can't afford to pay that much, and neither can our employees. We also have that benefit for the surgery too. So just say it was me, I hurt my knee on the weekend, I went to Columbia, did the MRI, and then I went to my specialist, he said, John, we gotta do an arthroscopy surgery on your knee. I can get the knee covered at 100% too. So the employee could go in and get an MRI and get a surgery done at no cost to them. And it's not like we're going out and finding the lowest quality providers that are just cheap. In this situation, these providers are higher quality than the hospital facilities.
Not in the back of the van.
Right, exactly. These are done at surgical centers that all they do is surgeries on that specific, service that you're going to have done, and they do a lot of testing and blood work before you can even go in. So it's not somewhere where people are walking in with infectious diseases all day. It's something where we study the return to work rate. We study what's the infection rate at that facility, and we only recommend the highest quality facilities. Another thing we like about these surgery facilities is that they guarantee their surgeries. If we go to a local hospital facility and try to get a surgery done, and let's just say I had a knee replacement, and the doctor said, well, it didn't take, we need to do it again. The insurance plan pays for it a second time. The doctor doesn't pay for it. At these freestanding surgery centers, these doctors honor their work, and they say, if anything happens for the life of the knee, we'll replace it, right? So we're getting lifetime warranties on all these joint replacements and other surgeries that on a normal healthcare plan with Anthem or United Healthcare, our plan would eat those costs, and then we pay for that at renewal time. And then just really quickly, the last thing is we have a benefit called script sourcing. This is where we have the highest cost drugs, right? The specialty medications. There's been a trend in the healthcare market where prescription drugs are going to cost over 50% of the total healthcare plan by year 2025, and we're already there. Script sourcing is where we use an international pharmacy to ship the same drug in the same package to the employee's doorstep for a fraction of the cost. For drugs like Humira, the highest cost drugs. Humira retails for $6,300 a month. Can you guess what we're getting that through script sourcing for?
$6.
$6,000?
No, $6.
$6? That's a good guess. Anyone else? No, 13 cents. That's how much greed's in the system is. We can get it for 13 cents, but it's gonna retail all day in America because of Big Pharma and the lobbies for $6,300. So we cut all of them out. We cut all the extra hands out of the pie on this one, and that's how we were able to get the rates down. So if you guys would be willing to, I'd love if you guys would accept that. I can be out on site next week to do open enrollment. I've got everything ready to rock and roll in the benefit admin form, so.
When does insurance renew? It's October.
October 1.
Yep.
So we are short to do that, yeah.
It's a quick install.
You guys, I mean, and I'm sure when you come out and roll, you'll kind of give them some training on the whole deal, like being able to like go
yeah.
using the rest. Because that's something we switched to a high deductible plan, and that was something to kind of find out. It's like, as you said, there was a huge difference in cost when everybody was switching. For us, we kind of had to go do the searching a little bit on our own. It's nice that they do that for you, instead of like having to call like a half a dozen houses to find out what they charge for stuff.
Exactly. There's, we've got, it's called Healthcare Blue Book. It's Kelly Blue Book, but for healthcare services, right? So you can go on and instead of looking up a 2012 Ford Explorer, you can go on and look up how much does a shoulder surgery cost? I need a labrum repair, or any of those services that you would need, we can actually look up pricing for those. But as soon as something gets pre-certified through our plan, and it starts that pre-certification process, our TPA on the back end, Aether, they actually reach out to the member and say, hey, your doctor's saying go here, and if you go there, you are responsible for your $3,000 deductible, but if you go here, it might be a 45-minute drive, but we're gonna take your cost to zero. That means a lot to a lot of our employees. You know, how many folks are making $3,000 for a 2-hour drive? Nobody, right?
Most people would do that if they knew how to do it or where to
Right.
go, but the insurance
Yeah.
companies don't tell you.
We'll have to make sure that's communicated.
Yeah.
Yep.
Like on a PCP, does it, if they haven't met the deductible, it's still just a $10 copay?
Yep, so those are first dollar copays. So first day of the plan, you go to the primary care office, you get a $10 copay. You go to pick up your scripts, it's $1 per generic. The script sourcing, there is gonna be probably a $200 specialty copay for the first month, but right now we have a $350 copay for specialty medication. So the first month, it actually processes through the plan, so we don't have a ton of disruption with employees having, because we ship those medications in from outside the country. So the first month, we pass those and say, yep, you can just go ahead and fill that at your local pharmacy while we're getting that set up and the shipping on the back end. So,
Assuming it's a long-term medicine, yeah.
exactly, and I mean, the savings is absolutely ridiculous. We have one county, and it's actually in Kansas, but in the last 6 years, we've had script sourcing installed on, which is this benefit. We've saved them over $1 million on prescriptions alone. So, I mean, it is ridiculous how much the cost is rising on a lot of these prescriptions. For instance, there's a new drug out for hemophiliacs. It's $2 million for a dose, you know? So that's why we're taking a proactive approach and trying to set these plans up with all the cost containment tools before something like that hits us. And then something like that could bankrupt the city, right? We can't get insurance after we take a $2 million drug. No one wants to insure us. So that's why we put these tools in place so that we can control the cost moving forward and mitigate those costs before they even touch our plan.
I would entertain a motion to approve the Excel Health Plan proposal relative to what the board may or may not do relative to the cost savings compared to the previous plan. We would postpone those discussions unto a later meeting, perhaps even a closed session. I entertain a motion to go ahead and approve the Excel Health Plan proposal being October 1st.
I'll make that motion.
We have a motion on the floor to approve the Excel Health Plan proposal. We have a second.
Second.
We have a motion and a second on the floor to approve the Excel Health Plan proposal. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you very, very much, and I'm sure we will be talking.
Thank you very much. And then on just a really quick note before we leave here, with Freedom Claims, that secondary card, we've still got $18,736 in that account. So we can make that available to you after we switch over to this new plan.
Excellent.
We can get a check cut back to you, okay?
Excellent.
Thanks so much for your time.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Good job.
Thank you.
Thank you, David. Appreciate it, buddy. Good job. Good presentation.
Who's like that on health insurance?
No,
I think, I like that. I like that health care. That's nice. Okay, next we have on the agenda is Mr. Ed Bourne from Knights of Columbus. Hello, Ed. How are you?
I'm gonna make this the sweetest proposal, and it's gonna be quick. What we want to do is to have the Tootsie Roll Fun that we usually run every year at the four-way stop on October the 4th and 5th. That is run by the Swinky Council and the Hannibal Road Council. We just need the permission to go ahead and do that.
Excellent. I would accept a motion to approve the Knights of Columbus Tootsie Roll Drive on October 4th and 5th. We have a second? Motion and a second?
I'll make a motion.
We have a motion and a second on the floor. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
You have permission to do the Knights of Columbus Tootsie Roll Drive, and thank you, Ed. Appreciate all that you do.
45 seconds. Thank you.
It's gotta be a record. It's gotta be a record. Okay, moving right along with committee reports, planning and zoning. Okay, we will be addressing a ordinance for rezoning later on under new business. Parks and Recreation.
Yeah. So Steve's still in the field, so he asked me if I would show up.
Sure, Vicki, thank you.
Okay, first real quick, the bid request has been published in this week's paper for North Park.
Okay.
Thank you all that matters seeing that. We've taken that out, it goes out till October 10th. So we are waiting for bids through that. We have sent the bid request to identified contractors that have been doing this business. We've talked to Quincy, I believe, and I think Columbia, I believe, where we've gotten some information on contractors that we could work with. So we sent the bid package to them. We're getting ready to send it out to the minority contractors. So that's supposed to be done this week. Mary's gonna do that for us. We're working on St. Jude's plan for the cemetery. I think he's talked to someone on the board about that. He said to let you know we're still working on it, and it'll be short, it'll be coming quickly.
Okay.
Pretty much, I think it got finished this morning, but I haven't talked to Steve, but I think we kind of addressed it this morning.
Well, it's two different things.
Two different things, what?
Talking about St. Jude and the cemetery?
The cemetery itself, isn't it St. Jude Cemetery, and then what it's
Yes,
called?
it actually is St. Jude's Cemetery out there.
Oh,
Then we also have
so
St.
it's still the
Jude's
same
Church,
name?
so
Okay.
yeah, yes.
Okay.
So,
Excellent.
so then, I understand the church, we're getting some bids for the church, but we haven't seen those yet, so the park board has not seen anything.
There's, Alex is working on getting bids for the roof.
Will they come to the park board? What is the plan for those?
I will bring those.
We'll bring the bids to you.
So-
We have a couple of questions about how that repair has to be accomplished, because that's a historic site, and there may be some other issues we haven't addressed yet. But we have went and got quotes. Each one of them basically has inferred they have to replace the whole roof, because the previous, you have to be careful when you say this.
Mhm.
Apparently, they found some issues with the previous roof replacement. I'll leave it at that.
It is always difficult with the roofs too, if there is something wrong at the bottom to fix, because everything has to sit on
Everything's
top.
above it.
And if you start
I get it.
tearing, it's hard to fix like after the fact.
Thank you,
It is.
Greg. That's very good,
Can I put a
very good
Band-Aid
statement.
on it?
Very good statement. I
Yeah.
understand.
I think the question we had was, will the park board be able to see those before
Oh,
anything
absolutely.
commitment? Okay.
Absolutely.
Okay, lastly, the last thing on our agenda tonight was pickleball. And we're talking about Winter Street. We checked the court there. It will allow us to do 2 courts, pickleball, north to south. The basketball court's running east to west. So it would be exactly the opposite. In doing my research, I have to recommend we take out the basketball courts. We have had experience to date over at the Holy Rosary parking lot with portable nets, and they don't hold up. They're like easy ups. They connect like an easy up. So if you're expecting people to take them down that really don't know what they're doing, as an easy up, you can break them. And I've done it myself, or, you know, get your fingers caught in them or whatever. But, so they don't feel like they're gonna get a year out of the nets, because they're collapsing them, putting them in storage, and someone else is coming and taking them out again. So, the best solution for the city as far as, expense, I believe, is to do permanent. And that means you have to take out the basketball courts.
So, is this now, or will the Parks Board be making a formal recommendation to remove the
I think that's
basketball
what we're
court?
doing currently, yes.
Okay.
Yes. It is not, it would not be a deal breaker. You could put portables up there. But when you do that, you have to have a place to store the nets when when someone wants to play basketball, to make them safe, I believe, so they don't get just hauled off. So there's that requirement. And then I think the nets will be replaced multiple times a year. So, from the Parks Board, if we want to really go after and build a pickleball court, we are recommending that you take out those basketball courts. Whereas you can go right down to the Christian church, where we're going to build this big park, and we're going to keep that basketball court right there. So it's about, 6-7 blocks maybe?
I get it. I think what I would propose to the board is to postpone a decision on removing the basketball portion of that court until such time as we have the whole plan put together with cost expectations for the pickleball. Fair enough?
Okay.
I don't think it's going to be a problem agreeing to do it. I just kind of like to get it all done in one fell swoop, if possible.
Okay. Okay.
No, I don't have any objection to it whatsoever. I don't think anybody else does.
No, from the park board side, it was kind of felt like we have other basketball court locations.
Agreed.
This would really be the only.
Agreed. I mean, if you guys if you want to make a motion to go ahead and make that decision,
well,
I'll entertain it.
I mean,
Not a
I don't
problem.
know that we have. I don't know if we need to make a motion yet. If you want to get the cost, or
I
are
mean,
you ready? Do you want to proceed on
I've
that?
got cost. I did not put them in a format to present to you.
Okay.
What I do not know is how much we can accomplish ourselves and how much we will have to hire done. I have cost on everything but installing the nets and taking down
If
the
you're gonna,
posts.
I'm thinking, I apologize, I'm thinking if you're gonna have to go ahead and go out and get more information for the cost, you need to know that you do not have to utilize or entertain potential or not potential costs for the basketball side of this issue. So let's go ahead and redo that. I'm gonna retract that. Would someone make a motion to give them permission to affect, however we're going to do this, affect the removal of basketball court portion of the Winter Street Park?
I'll make a motion that we approve the removal of the basketball goals from the Winter Street Park.
Okay, we have a motion on the floor. Do we have a second?
Second.
You have a second? You want a second? Do we need to have more discussion? There's not a problem with having more
Can I
discussion.
make an observation?
Please.
When my kids would play basketball there, to the south, if your ball gets knocked out of the court and goes south, there's a huge ditch there. It's like impossible to get.
It's not a very good
ball.
basketball
It's not a
court.
good place to play basketball.
Okay.
Are we gonna have the same problem with pickleball?
Well,
It's
that-
wiffle balls.
I was
They'll
gonna
hit,
ask-
just hit the
well,
grass
that-
and
that-
stuff.
I was wondering the same thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, they'll hit the grass and stuff.
Stop it.
Yeah.
Okay.
And eventually, we would like to see a fence around it, or the pickleball groups would. But we think we could do fundraising for that, and just put it up whenever, as long as the city would allow us to. So we're not asking for a fence, but if you go to Palmyra, they have a fence. Most pickleball fields have a fence, so that you don't lose the ball.
I think I've had a stroke. I don't know where the Winter Street Park is. I cannot picture.
See, Robin, most people don't. I
I
don't
know,
think
it's
it's
down
there.
by the
cemetery.
By the cemetery.
Okay, at the end of the road. Okay. Sorry.
Okay.
I don't think a lot of people know that it's
I
there.
know.
If you
Does
don't
it
go to
even
the
get that much
cemetery.
used?
No.
If you
I
look
don't
at the
think as much
basketball
as
nets, it
anymore.
does not look like they get used if you look at the nets that are up there. I don't know when they've been replaced, but
It used to, I think, but I mean, over time, it's like where people live in the city and stuff moves, because like there's some trailer courts down there or something. I think it used to get more use a few years ago, but I don't see many people on it by driving by.
if I could just get permission that we could take them down, I can put together a package to present to you if they're down, permanent netting and all of that. But I don't know if we want to even, entertain taking them down. That's what I'm asking.
Well, we have a motion on the floor
Well, I
to give
feel
you
better about the
authorization.
Okay,
Okay.
Do we have a second?
Jason seconded.
We have a motion and a second on the floor to allow the Parks Board to effect removal of the basketball hoops or whatever they're called.
Okay.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, motion carries, you got permission.
Thank you very much.
Oh, thank you,
Thanks.
Vicki, I
That's all for
appreciate your
parks.
efforts.
Thank you.
Aye.
Okey dokey. Economic development,
We'll have our meeting this coming Monday.
very good. Hopefully we'll have some economic development here before long.
Yeah.
I hope. Administration committee, I don't think they've met, so that's not an issue. Nuisance review board, public safety.
Adrian?
That's Adrian.
Okay.
That's Adrian.
Adrian?
Okay. I will say that I took 5 trips down First Street with an individual who's would like to be able to come to Monroe City and buy property and erect affordable housing. And the individual already owns property on First Street. And I have to tell you, I think there is, or should be, plenty of activity for whoever our code enforcement officer is on that street. I'm going to be contacting the city of Bowling Green based on conversations with this gentleman. Bowling Green had very similar issues, and they apparently found a way within the statutes to affect a significant change. So I'm going to be contacting Bowling Green and asking them what their process is for nuisance abatement that might be different. Maybe we can find something that we're not aware of to help us, because I apologize if it offends anybody who lives on First Street, but it's a hell of an eyesore. It is not pretty. We got junk cars, we got cars where windows broke out. We got some guy that said he's rebuilding cars, we hasn't rebuilt one yet. I guess we had some sort of police activity from the county over on the south side here recently. I don't know what that was all about, nor is it none of my personal business, but yeah, it's a very unattractive area. Some of those houses probably could be condemned upon inspection by the building inspector. Somebody have a discussion with him. Now, moving right along, department reports. First on the agenda is police.
Before we move on, could we get a public safety meeting set up? If we have one in a couple of months.
The mayor has requested it twice, so I'm
Who's
not
the
sure
chair
what
of
the
that?
next step is.
Adrian is. She's the chair on 2 different boards.
Or she's nuisance.
Or is it the same
It's the
board?
same.
Public safety, nuisance public safety.
Oh, it's the
board.
same board, okay.
I will make a request to Adrian when I see her again, and if necessary, I'll call the meeting myself.
Yeah, it's been like 4 or 5 months.
It's way past due, and I know the
Yeah.
police department has some issues that they definitely want to get addressed, and I certainly want to work with them to help them any way I can. So Chief, have yourself or Kim send me an email and request a meeting, and that'll be my boot in the backside to get it done.
Okay.
Okay, let's move on to department reports. First up would be police department. Wow, I think that's a good thing. That's a good thing. Thank you very much, Chief. Fire.
So we've gotten permission to purchase that vehicle, and then,
I heard it turned out to be the wrong.
come to find out, it's two-wheel drive.
Two-wheel drive, yeah.
And I
Worked on the
said,
rural
well,
stuff.
that's not gonna work, Dave. I said, there's no way. Not in this part of the state. So, they've given me some time to look, and I have looked and looked until I don't wanna look anymore. But I did find this one, it's a 2016 Denali. They're wanting 22 378 for it. It does have some miles on it. It's got 140,000 miles on it, but this is what they're gonna do for us. They're gonna give us a 3-year warranty or 36,000 miles on all of the powertrain, which is your engine, transmission, rear end. And if they didn't believe it was a good vehicle, they definitely would not do that. There's a Carfax there that shows all of the maintenance that has been done to the vehicle.
How many miles you put on one roughly a year?
It took me 10 years to put 30,000 on it.
So the 3 years would be the,
Yeah.
probably be the.
Yeah.
We still have a discussion in executive session, Mr. Mayor. about-
We do.
Yeah, I think we need to table the discussion.
Well,
Until the next meeting.
let me stop. I learned something last week. We need to postpone it, because if we table it, we have to bring it back up during this meeting. So we postpone.
You know what?
Postpone,
Postpone there?
yes.
Okay, Phil?
Until after our executive meeting.
Okay, so this is gonna be an executive then?
No, this will not be.
Okay then.
There are other, legal,
I get it.
I can't go into it.
You know, I get it.
I can't go into it.
I get it all it is.
All right, thank you, Chief.
I'll keep taking the brush burn.
Okay, next thing we have is, Water Department, George.
I'll be quick. We had 2 water leaks that we've been working with. We finally got them done. One was up in Ren Powderfield's driveway. We chased that one and chased that one. The Powderfield Trucking's driveway.
Was that
attaches
on the
to
north-
Elm
north-
Street?
sorry, north side?
North Elm, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we ended up replacing 30-foot of water main, and we still never found the leak for sure, so.
But it's gone
It's
now?
stopped. It's gone now, yeah, so somewhere in there was so much water, that it was there, it was hard to tell, yeah, it was such a small leak. But, there was a bigger one over on, Park, there at Park and.
A little short street runs through there.
Yeah, it starts from
Okay.
Berkeley.
Berkeley,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, and that was a water service to the person directly to the south of the intersection is what was actually leaking there. We got that one done, and then we were working on the fire hydrant on Lawn Street, and with the way it was put together, there's if you're familiar with water line, there's water line, stub off, there's a valve, then there's the fire hydrant. Well, we shut the valve off, dug up around the fire hydrant with the hydro excavator, cut the pipe in between the valve and the fire hydrant, and there was a coupler put on that was not a restraint coupler, and it blew the valve off, actually hit one of my guys, and he hasn't went to the doctor yet, he refuses to go, but he's limping, and yeah, it might have busted up his ankle. So, but that happens. We got it fixed. Every water has been restored. The back T samples came back good for the 2 locations we had to do that to, and that's it.
So we didn't need any boil orders?
Yeah, that's it's not a boil order, it's a boil advisory. There were
Okay.
2 boil advisories issued. We actually take samples of the water, take it to a lab that's certified to do back T sampling. And the back T samples, it's a 24-hour test, it has come back good, so the boil advisories have been lifted. And I put out a letter on everybody's door who was affected, and it said that if there was any issues with any of the back T samples, we would re-notify them. Otherwise, at 48 hours, it would fall off. So actually, tonight at 6, the one down on Lawn Street fell off. So we talked about hydrants, and I know that the mayor had asked me to get some pricing. I sent him the pricing on it. He never said anything, so I thought he was still fainted on the floor when he seen how much a single hydrant is. A 5-foot bury, 6-inch, 3-quart hydrant is roughly $3,600. And we used our last one we had, so we have no more. I asked the mayor about the budget the other day. He said that they're in the process of, so I'm gonna try to put a couple of them in. I'm not gonna ask you for any money today, but October 1st is just right around the corner when the budget's supposed to start. I'm hoping to get a couple of them in the budget. Just wanted to let you know where we were with that, but we do not have any fire hydrants, so if somebody runs one over, we will not have a fire hydrant for a little while.
You were
Yes, sir.
saying that once you pulled the one, that you thought you might be able to actually fix it?
We've pulled it and we have not been able to take it apart. We had almost a whole day to clean up and we just haven't had time.
So there's still a possibility that.
There's still a possibility,
Yeah.
yes. Yeah, we have to tear it apart.
Right.
We can always cross our fingers.
Yeah.
But, no, I don't have anything else unless somebody has
I have a
something else for me. Yes, ma'am.
I really like this water report, because I'm kind of a water nerd, but, how did the unaccounted for water in August become a negative 1.2 million gallons? That's just a fluke thing?
I
number
cannot
thing?
answer that because the numbers I get, we read the water meters early in the month, but yet that accounts for the water that was produced and sent to town from the first of the month till the end of the month. So we're reading meters here saying we sold this much, but yet there's no way for me to make my report match the numbers of the actual water reading. I guess I could, but then, it's either the 10th or the 11th or the 12th or the 13th, it'll all come out in the wash.
Okay.
One month might be a little bit higher, then it'll drop down. I'm just glad that we're not running 80% anymore.
Right. This is, yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
In
Glad you brought
August
it up because I was interested in your meter report. I guess with electronic meters, you guys monitor stuff, and you're catching like even small leaks to notify people if they've got. I guess you can tell that from the way the meter behaves.
Well, if whenever you take the tour of the water plant, I'll pull it up and I'll show you. There's right now there's 52 water leaks in our system. Anywhere from 0.6 gallons an hour up to, I believe, the people live over here on Border Street. It's been leaking for 6 months. They know about it, and they're running 32 gallons an hour, I think, right now.
I don't know how they afford that.
And
I actually went over and I identified an area it was in. I showed them that it was not in their house. It's outside of their house. So, but yeah, they got a 150-foot water line that they don't know where it is. But they could have easily paid for it a couple different times than what they're paying for water.
Yeah,
there's a house over here on Cleveland. It's running 18 gallons a minute. It's been doing that forever. The guy swears he doesn't have a leak.
Whoa.
Yeah.
18 gallons an hour. That's
A minute.
18 gallons a minute?
What'd you say?
No,
Hour.
an hour.
An hour, but still.
So that's a lot of water.
Yeah,
Still a lot of water.
Whenever we do identify them, I made a form up and actually Danette signed it for me, so I just mass produced it and I write in there how many gallons of. I'll hurry up, Mr. Mayor. I heard your sigh. Your sigh was.
I'm sorry, I
around the
squished it. It was a
room.
really interesting report. I think it's so good we're doing.
Yeah, we take it out to them. We tape it on their door. We normally don't do it multiple times. We'll do it once. If they don't, it also gives them the information on how to be a member of Ion Water, which then will text them and tell them when they have it. And then when it's fixed, it'll text you and tell you that you're.
I'll be interested in that too because
they're downstairs after the meeting. There's some stuff on. You still have Ion Water sitting on the counter. Just grab it and sign up for it.
All right, thank you.
All right.
So,
yes, sir.
Are you making a note of when they were notified? What date they were notified?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep, I have a spreadsheet that we go ahead and write that stuff down out at the water plant.
Okay. Yeah, because 18 gallons an hour, that's 12,000 gallons a month.
Oh, yeah.
I mean.
Yeah, and water leaks never get better,
No.
Mr. Schneider, so.
Yeah.
They're paying water and sewer charge on that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's even worse.
Yes.
Somewhere in the annals of information that People Services provided me is a document that addresses the potential to hire an outside firm to come in and use some very high-tech processes to detect water leaks. And not this month or maybe even next month, but prior to the end of the year, I will be bringing that information to the board. We'll have a discussion about the value that we might obtain by going to the oldest quarter, is that fair?
Yes.
Oldest quarter section of the city and looking at all those very, very old water lines for potential leaks.
It's probably my house.
It may be, you know, but it's something. People Services has been very helpful to my office. They're very proactive. They answer the questions that we have. They're trying to find ways to reduce their cost, and they'll continue to do so, and I'll continue pushing them to do so. Thanks, George.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Okay, electric department.
Carries on vacation.
Excuse me?
Carries on vacation.
I realize that we may have to do something. I'm not sure exactly how to do this. We're trying to get competitive quotes to replace the batteries at the Industrial Park substation. These batteries operate the mechanical devices that open and close the circuits. Obviously, the reason why they're battery operated is if you don't have electricity, you can't operate them. What I would like from this board is the authors. Here's what happens. Until we get these batteries in and get them installed, it's not going online. One of the lead times was 8 weeks. We found other companies that have X numbers in stock, and we're still trying to verify that each vendor's batteries meet the requirements of a battery to be used in the rack in the substation. I need for this board to authorize the mayor's office to analyze all of the bids that we received for the 20 batteries in the rack and authorize the mayor to make a determination which bid meets the specifications, provides the best value based on cost, warranty, and expected service life. And I'm going to ask you to approve up to $32,000 because we can't wait for 2 or 3 more board meetings for this to happen.
Okay. Up to 32,000?
Yes, sir.
How many batteries?
20.
Those are those big.
They're very high. They're very expensive batteries.
Well, I mean, I think you said 10 years is what
they've been there 10 years, and we've got bids that go from 19,000 up to 30,000. I know.
I'll make the motion.
It's not the way we normally do. It's not the normal way we do things. If you want, we can do it a different way. We can get the quotes. We can get the bids. We can poll the board. We can ask the board by poll if they would approve it, and then go ahead and make the purchase and have the board approve it in arrears. It's either way you guys want to do it. I just don't want to wait.
Rely heavily on, like you might say, the expert opinion anyway. As
Yeah.
you said, you get all these different batteries, and we all know you can go, down and buy a battery that's this price, or you can pay double that for another battery, and there's a difference in the life.
We can. And it's just been painful to try to get it ready for this board meeting.
Yeah. I'll make a motion that we authorize the mayor's department to analyze the battery quotes and make a selection up to $30,000 to replace those batteries.
We have a motion on the floor to allow the mayor's office to make a determination on the purchase of the batteries to the industrial park substation up to $30,000. We have a second?
I'll second.
We have a motion second on the floor to allow the mayor's office to make the decision in concert with the electric department on purchases of batteries for the industrial park substation up to $30,000. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All say opposed say no. Motion carries. Thank you very much. That'll allow us to move forward.
Real quick, the Northeast Power information that's in there with the electric department, 2 of the electric department staff will be attending.
Okay. Yes, Carrie will be staying back to provide coverage in case something is going on. It provides an opportunity for 2 of our staff members to improve their educational training. Gas department, Terry's not here. What we had is he previously advised the board that we have an F-350 truck that needs repair. He had advised previously that was going to be about $3,000. He has a quote from, quotes in here. How many quotes are in here, Alex? One. Okay. He's got one quote from J.C. Schumar Incorporated with auto repair, an amount of $2,518.
Is that the same one from before?
It is, yes.
So you didn't get any new ones? You didn't go Tri-County or? No.
We do anything with this?
I mean, if he's asked for other bids and we don't get anything back, I don't know.
What did he ask?
He's not here to discuss it, so I don't know what to do.
Whatever that.
We'll just postpone that.
Postpone.
Because, I mean, obviously they're hopefully keeping it full on oil. I don't know how bad the leak is.
Which one was that?
It's on the F-350.
Which, section 10?
That's got the hydraulic leak, right?
10.
That hydraulic
No,
leak?
it's oil,
leak?
engine
Oh,
oil
yeah,
leak.
right, I
Yeah.
apologize, main oil seal, rear main seal. Anything else on gas? Anything else on gas department? Okay, moving right along, street department. I may be stepping on some toes here. Reading through the street department report, we dug 2 holes and set 2 foul line poles for the ballpark. The ballpark is not a city property. It belongs to Lions Club Field. I think we need to remind all departments that it is not only not allowed, it is illegal based on the most recent Supreme Court ruling on the use of taxpayer funds. I implore any and all city employees that if you find yourself engaged in directed activity that you believe may or may not be approved, understanding fully that taxpayer funds may not be legally used for any purpose, for any private entity or private person. It can only be used for the purpose of maintenance of city property.
Another issue is, I don't know that MIRMA would cover us if somebody got hurt.
They won't.
Doing that.
No, they won't, because
So-
it's unapproved. It's an unapproved activity. And I don't know that we've done a good job of communicating that to all of our individual department heads. I think it'd probably be a good idea if we get something written up and drawn up from the city attorney's office, that if necessary, we'll put it in the form of an ordinance. If not, we'll at least implement it into our employee training. Fair enough? Anyone have an issue
That
with
makes sense,
what I
because if somebody
said?
gets hurt, then,
All right.
yeah.
What's the boundary like between the pool and the rest of that area over there?
Physical boundary, I cannot tell you. I think it's the fence. But don't hold me to that.
It's a 0 lot line. They share the boundary.
A zebra?
Zero.
Oh, 0 lot line.
Lot line, so they share the same boundary.
But the foul posts aren't on the boundary line, right?
Well, they might be.
Well, they're out closer to the road.
Well, it depends on which foul play you're talking about. One of them, and it's sort of regardless deal. I'm just kind of curious because you're right. It is Lions Club Park, but of course we have, but the school
City.
does stuff with the baseball fields, the softball fields out there, and then we have the city that's a lot of times helped with maintenance.
It gets
I know
kind
we
of
have.
complicated.
And then we have also have the city pool that's there, and I was kind of curious about how that all fit.
We're responsible for
together.
the pool, and I'm told that, we share a parking lot. That's all I know. And we can ask more questions, I guess, if we need to.
I mean, I guess if we're gonna do like a legal separation, that's kind of where I'm getting this. We're gonna do that. We need to know where our
Well, we could
boundaries
get it,
are.
I mean, call to the courthouse in Paris, we could get it, so. See where the boundaries are.
Oh, okay, let's do.
Yeah.
That way we'll clear this up once and for all.
Give guidance to.
All right, airport.
I don't have anything to add, I just wanna thank you for accepting this Miko's offer. I've been trying for 20 years to figure out how to get these grants, and I've always run into a brick wall for federal money, and he seems to know the way to do it, and I think it can lead to if we can get to that $75,000 a year for maintenance, it just pretty
Be a
much
big help.
raises the city of the airport.
And it's kind of a situation where once you kind of like get in, you're in. And you can just
Once
keep
you get on
repeating.
that cycle.
You can cycle, yeah.
And they
Because
can do-
otherwise, we gotta find the money ourselves.
They
So
can do a
it's
lot
an
of
investment.
things.
Yeah,
It's
why-
an investment.
Why put our money in when there's funds available?
Absolutely, I feel the same way.
There's a lot of money available, and the last inspection by the state, there is a zone, safety zone, that the power poles along the Highway 24 and trees across the road are violating that zone. We were supposed to do something with it, but we just kinda ignored it. But he said that's a safety thing, and he can almost guarantee you'll get grant money to do that stuff.
Okay, excellent.
So,
Like it's too close to the airport?
There's a zone for aircraft landing on an instrument approach.
Okay.
And the poles and trees are encroach on that zone.
Okay.
On both ends of the runway.
Okay.
So, we don't have that many instrument approaches, although there are some.
Right.
And if someone was to have an accident because of those infractions, then we would probably be in trouble. But
Yeah.
he can, he said that anything that's safety oriented, that's what he would go for first. Once he gets his foot in the door, then he can go for these other things. So anyway, I appreciate your.
Definitely.
Well, thank you, Delbert, for your help.
Yes.
Next on the agenda is Mosswood. Okay, moving right along,
Well,
presentation.
we do have the
There's those,
invoice, payment request from Mosswood.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. They have already paid this, they're just asking for reimbursement for these chemicals. The total is
$10.
$1,976.
Yeah, from Ricketts, yeah.
Okay. Need a motion.
I make a motion to approve the invoice paid by Mosswood for $1,976.
Okay, we have a motion on the floor to approve, repaying Mosswood Golf Association for $1,976. Do we have a second?
Okay.
We have a motion, second on the floor to compensate Mosswood Golf Recreation Association in the amount of $1,976. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say nay. Motion carries. Anything else in that? Okay. Now let's move on to presentation of bills and approval of payments. Under tab 11.
Why did CNR slap us with a late charge?
I'm sorry, Jason?
I said, why did,
CNR.
they give us a late charge? But we've been current, haven't we? It says,
There was,
Oh.
for some of our older purchases during pool for concessions, we did get a late charge for that.
Okay. Well, shamey on us.
I also provided a second printout for you guys to see. These are bills that as soon as we get, we need to get paid. And so this will be something we'll start providing to you all each month as well.
These are the contracted ones, right?
Yeah.
We have contracted date.
Yeah, for like our gas bill, electric bill, stuff like that, yeah.
We actually addressed that like in our second board meeting where I had made a mistake. and not allowed the payment. So, yes. The banner?
No.
I'm sorry. I'm gonna have to turn my page here and follow you.
Yes.
Is this just one battery for the police car?
Yes.
That's gotta be a.
We're gonna
Is
use
it-
that.
I guess it's a really special battery for the police car. There's like a $400 battery.
No, there was
Is that
two
for-
batteries.
Two batteries. Okay.
It's
Department, or is that for,
Do they each have two, or? Okay.
Banner.
I've pulled that one, there's been some issues with that, and I've been working with them to get that resolved.
So it's not-
They've been commingling our.
It's here, but it's not here.
It's not,
Okay,
it's
it's not-
here but not here. I've been working on it and we should have it fixed by.
Which one?
banner?
Good call there. Good call. So banner's not actually on there. Good enough. This has been one of the
Wait a
older
minute,
ones
are you
I've
saying
seen since we've been
Bannerd
doing
or
this.
Banner,
Okay.
not Bernard.
Okay, I'll entertain a motion to approve the bills payable.
I'll make a motion to approve bills payable stated.
We have a motion on the floor to approve the bills payable. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second on the floor to approve bills payable. All in favor, please say aye.
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 All opposed, say no. Motion carries. Moving on to, me too, it's Eskimo in here. New business, Tiger Hawk IT quotes. Please step forward, Mr. Alex.
Well, it's kind of convenient that BKMC had $1,000 quote for IT stuff, but
I don't understand any of this.
I'll try my best, I
It's complicated.
promise. Me and Mike have kind of been working on it. So the first thing that you will see is a base plan that Tiger Hawk had provided. It's our IT audit, and in all frankness, it's not good. We did not do very well, and a lot of this is stuff that is very easily fixable, and
Ooh. The
There are-
security one is bad, the security.
yes, and this is just for City Hall. The PD did not do any better. Actually, they did a little bit worse due to some other factors. And attached to it, I do have several quotes involved with a number of things. The first one you will see is Tiger Hawk Complete quotes, and this is basically their tools that they will use to maintain our systems, monitor for activity, segregate our internal systems, so that way if something were to happen in one department, nothing would happen to another department. And it also covers all the on-site time that they do. So in these other quotes, you will see on-site time for them physically coming here to make repairs or do some work. That would be taken off of this. For quote, in the top right, you'll see 1499. That would take off the $650 for that. And this first, the quote after that, that says Ubiquity UXG Max, that is for City Hall. And this is actually to also set up access points within the city so that we can get internet to the different parts of the city. If you look on your phones now, you can't connect to the Wi-Fi here in this part of the City Hall. And this would remedy that problem. We can be able to actually make those steps to add speakers, boards, and all that.
May I interrupt?
I just
Yes.
don't have a clue.
What I would like to hear from you and Mike is tell us which one of the, there is a tremendous amount of information
I
here
don't.
that very few of us understand what it actually means. So I know you and Mike have worked on this together. You guys have, based on your experience and knowledge, a recommendation that we're either going to say yes or no. Can you please give it to us?
Okay. So quote 1499, the Ubiquity router and switch and 3 access points and cabling. Basically, what we have now is what we had with Marco, which is Meraki, which is a subscription-based service.
Yes,
I still don't know what you're saying.
So this quote,
I think I know, you're highly technical, he's highly
It makes
technical.
sense.
to make the internet work in the whole building.
What do
Okay.
we need? What of
What,
these 12
which
pages?
one of these plans do y'all recommend? It's really that simple, guys. I'm sorry, I'm not trying to be
Me
sarcastic.
neither. I just,
Well,
it doesn't matter what you tell me, I'm not gonna get it.
they all go.
These 2 are hardware quotes. These are one-time quotes, hardware.
Okay,
Okay.
It's
so
not a recurring charge.
so the 1499 is hardware.
Yes.
What's the next one is hardware that we have to have?
That is what is a NAS. A lot of people may know that as a file server.
Is that 1501?
Yes.
Okay, so 1501
Yes,
and
1501.
1499 are similar.
Yeah. That's essentially a file server, and that includes security for backups. If something were to happen, they hourly back it up.
And the Tiger Hawk Complete does digital copy, and this would do the physical copy, so we'd always have backups of all of our
Okay,
information.
so you're going to recommend that we approve quote numbers what?
I think we should start with $14.99 and $15.01.
And those are both hardware?
Yes,
And it's a one-time deal.
one-time deal.
Those will improve our audit scores?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so now you got $14.99 for hardware, $15.01 for hardware, and if we get to the point, I'm going to refer to the motions as approving quote $14.99 and quote $15.01. I'm not going to spend an hour going
Right.
just line by line.
May I also add an addition to, was that 1501 as well?
You want to do 1616 also?
Yes.
Okay.
That one is to fix the police department. It's not good, it's a fire hazard, and frankly, we could lose that bill.
So it's called, what is the quote number?
1616, that would fix all the.
1516, is that a one time?
1616.
The quote number is 1616.
Say 1616, is that a one time?
Yes.
Okay,
That's the one that's 1642.
that's fine. What else you got going on?
The 1629 merges police department and the city under one network. But to save money, I also do recommend 1617 and 1497.
That's all of them.
All of them.
That's every invoice.
Mike,
The,
you agree with all this?
Pay once, cry once.
You just went over my head.
I got nothing, but
Alex knows where I stand with IT stuff. It's just.
Me.
So my
If we
experts
pay
say,
now,
so you're gonna wanna approve $14.99, $15.01, $16.16, $16.17, what else?
1629.
Did we say 1497?
Did you say 16?
It's all
Basically all of them.
It's all-
1490.
So there's not separate quotes.
1497.
These are all separate
They're
pieces,
all-
and you want the whole thing.
They're all separate.
1497?
This is
Okay.
this one.
What's 1497?
Yeah, let's just like hear the quick
Tiger
description of
Hawk.
what that is.
There is no quick
These
description.
are their tools for them to actually,
So they manage our computers with this, like our
yes.
antiviral
Manage it.
software,
Yes.
make sure the software is right on it or
And
whatever.
this also takes off
That's
all
what
of their
this one
on-site
is.
work time. Just the
Yeah,
other
it's all
day, they
included.
were there same day to fix
Huh?
the police department's
It's
printer
all
when
of
they
them.
were having issues.
Because if that's
So
what
they're
we-
pretty Johnny on the spot.
And this would be a monthly one, right?
This would be
Correct.
monthly.
Which,
Okay,
this-
but-
which one's monthly?
1497.
16, 17 as well.
What?
So that was for the police department.
1497 is monthly,
That's for here.
and 1616 is that's not monthly.
16, 17 is for the police department.
Yeah.
It is monthly.
Correct.
It is. Me and Mike also went over the Marco quotes as well, or Marco invoices in the past, and this is the whole buffet in terms of what you're getting, and it's probably the cheapest thing you'll find. All
How
we
does this
do-
compare to what we're currently paying?
This would take off all the on-site, it would reduce all labor for invoices.
How much we usually spend per month on on-site?
With Marco, we were doing almost about 1,000 every month on just regular invoices. With Tiger Hawk, I think the highest we've had is 681, and that was when it was mainly
That was
onboarding.
the onboard.
Is Marco gone? I mean,
Marco is
November
gone
1st.
officially in November whenever our licenses for M365 move in.
And that's when we have to have the servers and
In order,
stuff.
yes, in order
Because
to,
otherwise that other one's going away. So that's part of the deadline for that.
yes.
Yeah.
Well, I have placed my trust in Mike and Alex to put this plan together. I've watched them spend a lot of time on it. I've asked a lot of questions which may not have been helpful whatsoever. I need a motion on the floor.
Mike, I'd like you to make a motion and I'll second it if you.
Just to give you an idea, I understand you guys, $80 seems high, but if you search for average MSP prices, across the board.
I don't even know what MSP is.
Managed service provider. They range from 100 to 400 a month.
I don't know.
And a lot of places won't even touch 10 of the machines.
Okay.
So,
Okay, we need a motion to approve, quotation 1497, 1499, 1501, 1616, and 1617. Did I miss anything? 1620 and 1629.
Yeah.
Do we have a motion?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second it.
They're gonna make me repeat it. We have a motion and a second on the floor to approve the quotes from Tiger Hawk for all quotes. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say no. The motion carries.
Ooh, thanks, Alex.
Was that painful?
That was painful.
And we will be talking tomorrow, Alex.
Yes, sir.
Okay, resolution number 1 under tab 12.
What are we filing for SRF monies to be used for?
This is for our
Oh, the lead copy.
lead line inventory. There was one completed at the beginning of the project. It wasn't done correctly, so we're having to do another.
You mentioned that. Okay.
That's all we're
Called a repeat.
We didn't cross
So
the
it's the
Ts.
resolution that needs to be done again.
Correct.
Okay, it's not like the resolution, okay.
Yeah.
How do you do a resolution?
I make a motion that we accept this resolution as written here.
We have a motion on the floor to accept the resolution of governing body of applicant resolution number 1. We have a second?
I'll second.
The motion on the floor to approve the resolution. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say no. Motion carries. The resolution is approved. The next thing we have is bill number 11, which is an orders rezoning property as I-1 in the city of Monroe City. It's found under the
This is one that was approved, but Mr. Potterfield, it didn't make it into the minutes, that language that was needed, so we're
So
doing.
we're kind of redoing it to get it official, like it
Yes.
should have been done.
Yeah.
Quick update is like, where exactly is this? Does
It's
anyone?
north of Ren Potterfield Trucking.
Oh,
corner
yes.
there.
right.
Lot right behind their shop.
Okay.
Like two,
And so all the
two
previous
lots.
like notices and all that have already been done.
It was already done.
When they voted on it, it didn't get into the minutes.
We
so-
discussed it. We discussed it at the last Planning and Zoning Commission meeting. The members there recalled approving. And they said they didn't keep the minutes. We were supposed to keep the minutes. We found the minutes, but we never found anything beyond the minutes that said it's approved. I mean, the minutes say it was approved, but there was never orders done.
Well, I'll make a motion for ordinance rezoning the property as I-1, City of Monroe City, Bill 11 here as listed in this legal description.
We have a motion on the floor to approve bill number 11. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a motion on the floor and a second to approve bill number 11, the ordinance rezoning property as I-1 in the city of Monroe City, Missouri. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say no. And do we have to do this more than once? We do. Okay, the motion carries. We need a motion for a second reading.
I'll make a motion for a second reading of bill
We have
number
a
11.
motion on the floor for a second reading to approve bill number 11. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second on the floor to approve bill number 11. Roll call.
Aye. Oh, sorry.
I'm good with
getting a
it.
little.
I'm good
Sorry,
with
Barry,
it.
I'm detecting the urgency in here.
Alderman Snyder.
Aye.
Alderman Simpson.
Aye.
Alderman Osborne.
That's majority of the ayes. Having the bill number 11 approved shall become an ordinance. Okay, review of ordinance 720 2024. What that refers to, and I think I'm going to make a statement that the concern of this ordinance was a particular word used. Now let me read it real quick. All utility meters and metering devices situated or being in the city of Monroe City must be free of all obstacles, including tall grass, shrubs, refuse, fences, or parked vehicles, and easily accessible. To me, when I read this and it says fences, it means that the fence should be constructed so as not to be an obstacle. That would mean that if you have to open the door to the fence to get into the property to read the meter, then that wouldn't be a problem. It would only be a problem if the area inside the enclosure of the fence was not able to be accessed because it was either locked or there was a big bad dog that kept you from entering. It doesn't mean to me that you can't have a fence because that's a big, big, big deal.
I agree with you.
Yeah.
That's the way I understand it.
And I don't think that, personally, I don't think the wording needs to be changed as long as we understand that the fence cannot obstruct the meter.
And it's written free of all obstacles, and then it's just listing examples. So,
Potential.
Yeah.
Well, an obstacle would be a locked gate.
Yeah, so a locked fence is an obstacle.
Correct.
So, I wouldn't change anything.
Or a
And
dog.
that, can you enforce it that way?
We will, the gas department, they do have the regulations where it can't be blocked.
That's
or
correct,
anything for
and we're gonna work on that.
24/7.
The one that we had last week that we discussed, they have gotten with the homeowner, they're going to raise it up about 8 inches, so it will always be accessible and will not be an issue. And we'll use similar processes going forward. If we find a situation that we can't resolve, we will work with the homeowner to try to come to a resolution. And then if we can't come to a resolution, we'll enforce the ordinance. Fair enough?
So,
Yeah, not that I encourage any extra trouble, but the homeowners can always come to the board if they really have
Your associate would like to have a comment?
We just need clarification because we have people calling us that I know they've called the alderman, they've called the mayor. They're asking us, so we have people telling them that they only have to have their dogs inside the 2 days we read meters. They only have to have their gates unlocked the 2 days we read meters. That is not how we're wanting, we have to be able to get to it. So not just the 2 days we read meters, they have to have access to that at all times. So we need clarification what we're to tell these people because we get it thrown at us. Well, the alderman said this, the mayor said this, so we need to know what we need to tell these people.
People build fences so their pets can go in their backyards. What do we do?
can we give notification somehow?
Yes, we can.
That we need access?
Yeah. If it's
If
not
it's
during,
an
if it's not during the, if
Exactly.
Yeah, we're talking about issues
Yeah.
if you have a guest meeting.
If we just tell them 2 days of the month that we read the meters, then they just think they can leave their pit bulls out there in the fence anytime that our guys need to go in there they would need to shut the gas off because of,
A week.
a leak or something, and we can't because we have 4 pit bulls in this and we have our own people that are calling, yelling. And so.
I don't think we can tell them they have to keep their dogs in the house 24/7.
No.
Yeah, that seems a
There's a
little
reason why they put up
extreme.
a fence and it's.
How do we?
But I don't know how to address your problem.
Exactly, that's what we don't know what to tell these people. Do we tell them during business
Well, if
hours?
it's an emergency,
Zach,
you
we've
just
gotta
deal
come.
with the dogs, is my thinking.
Zach?
That's the emergency.
Emergencies, get old PD, we'll take care of the animals.
Yeah.
And also gain entry.
I'm sorry, Zach, and I apologize. Would you please repeat that?
Yeah, if it's emergency,
Call
just have them get a hold of PD. At that point, we can gain entry and we can also take care of the animals. If it's
There's your
an
answer.
emergency.
So we're to tell them that they just gotta have their dogs in the 2 days we read meters.
No.
Yes.
Yes?
Yeah.
While we're reading meters?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
And if there's an emergency, we'll try to make first contact with the homeowner. If we can't get in touch with the homeowner, call the PD.
And when you say take care of the dogs you like wrangle them or put them on a leash temporarily or?
Yeah, if they need to be,
Well, I have an issue with this, because we've already told them they can't do that during the 2 days that we read meters.
Dogs have to be put away during the 2 days.
During
we
the
read
2
meters.
days.
Yes.
Yes.
But then we passed
But then
the
after
ordinance,
that-
and then it got all confusing to everybody, because then they got letters taped, and then it's a big mess.
The 2 days that we read the meters, the dogs have to be on a leash.
Right.
And they can't get to our people.
Away from the meters.
And the gate's
Any,
unlocked.
any other
The
time,
gate's unlocked.
any other time, what?
And the
And the-
gate's unlocked.
And the
The
gate's
gate is
unlocked.
unlocked, accessible.
Right,
Yes.
they've all been told that.
Well, what's,
And if they don't wanna do that, we'll have to have a discussion.
what's contradictory then?
Well, her concern
Because
was
we're
like,
saying 24, we have to be able to get to it 24/7 is what we passed and said, and then we're telling them that it's only the 2 days that they gotta have them in.
Well,
so
the
that was
ordinance is
kinda-
about permanent obstacles.
Mhm.
I mean, so the dogs, like Robin said, I mean, 2 days, they don't need to be attacking the meter readers, but, I mean, if there's a problem, an emergency, the police can deal with it.
Mhm.
What time frame do they read?
I mean, they start at 8 o'clock in the morning usually
And
until
quit at
about
5.
3 o'clock.
3, okay.
I mean, but then we had some that we told we told them they had to leave their gates unlocked at all times. It wasn't about the dog, it was just they have to leave the gate unlocked at all times because we have to, so that was where it's getting confusing. So we just wanna be sure that we're,
Yeah, we're not going around every day of the month checking for locked gates and issuing
Right.
citations.
Right.
I mean, so, yeah, I don't see it as an issue.
Yeah, and the one I talked with, just like if there's a fire, break down the fence, I don't
Right.
care,
although,
But-
yeah, of course that is a delay. But I think, yeah, part of it is like general, it's as to what you tell people and then what happens. A lot of people would be better off if we kind of like work in the, as long as they don't have a problem in your meter reading, you're not going to,
Right.
there's not gonna be towing your car, they're not gonna be breaking down your gate or cutting your lock or shutting off your power. And if there is an emergency, then that doesn't happen that often, but if it does, then people will have to take the steps, whatever it requires to take care of emergency stuff. So I think that the ordinance would say that we have to have access to those meters at all times, but in practice, as long as our guys aren't running into the issue, no one's
Right.
gonna complain.
Right.
That's the way I would look at it from, I think, the best agreement to everybody, between.
Can we work
us
with
and the city.
that?
yeah, we need clarification because
So-
we had different staff telling different, and we
Yeah,
were
'cause
not
I mean,
sure
I
ourselves.
agree, I think the ordinance says we need to have access to these meters at all times.
Right.
In practice, though, that really is only 2 days a month, almost all of the time. And so as long as they're fitting in with that period, no one's gonna complain, and it's gonna be fine. And if there are the rare cases of emergencies, we'll deal with those individual incidents as it goes, I would say.
Okay, unfinished business? None. Okay, moving along, before I go there, will we be coming back into open session and voting?
No.
Not necessary? All right. All right, we will be going into closed session closed session pursuant to RSMO 610.021. 3, hiring, firing, disciplining, or promoting of particular employees by a public governmental body when personal information about the employees discussed or recorded. And 1, legal actions, causes of actions, or litigation involving a public governmental body and any confidential or privileged communications between a public governmental body or its representatives and its attorneys. We'll now adjourn and go into closed session.
Yeah, we need a roll call.
Okay, do a
I'll
roll
make a
call.
motion.
Okay, Alderman Schneider,
Yes.
Simpson, Osborne,
You will. Okay, there's going to be,
Okay, hold on.
go ahead.
Turn off the camera.
Absolutely, but I was just gonna say it's gonna be 2 different sessions.
Right.
Are we gonna do it here, or we're gonna go upstairs?
If everybody leaves, we can just stay here.
Okay, well, we'll have to ask some of these people to leave for the
We've
first
got a
one.
card for Lori, if y'all wanna sign it.
Yeah.
Was there a credit card thing going on?